Greetings, adventurers! Welcome to the Dragnethar Online Loremaster series. In this video series, we'll be talking about the world of Dragnethar from laws of natures, biology, geography, historical events, and legends. For this first episode, what fits more than the Dragnethar themselves? Powerful being almost equals to gods, imprisoned in a perpetual reincarnation cycles. Let's dive in to understand more about the stars of this show. In the beginning of time, the Creator created the greater gods and the archons, powerful being with infinite power, capable of shaping the universe itself. One such being is Lord Cas, the first god of the pantheon that we will come to know in this story. While the archons are semi-sentient beings that contains the secret to control various aspects of the universe. Given the task to populate the universe, Lord Cas, with some help from an archon, created the lesser god in his image. Although not as powerful as Lord Cas himself, these lesser gods are still capable of amazing feats, such as creating their own life form. In time, Lord Cas, along with the lesser gods, populates the universe with their creations. Mortal races fills every corner of the world. However, problem arises. As mortal beings can only see or interact with the gods that created them. This caused a debate amongst the mortals about whether the gods that they worship are real or not. Small mortal conflicts eventually escalate into an all-out war, and their creator god will not stand still. To prevent a celestial war, Lord Cas created another being, a true mediator to walk amongst the mortals and gods alike. He created only 9 of them, the Dragnethar. These pseudo-gods have the ability to form contracts with the lesser gods and the archon. They are not born powerful, so the only way for them to keep the peace between the lesser gods is by borrowing the power of several other lesser gods. They can also transform into every mortal race created by the lesser gods. As such, they are the most important links in the chains of the universe. As the universe came alive, Lord Cas slowly stepped back and went silent. Eventually, eons goes by without his presence. The Archon, Lesser God, and the Dragnethar are left to run the shows of the universe. However, the Dragnethar are not perfect. As Lord Cas gave them free will, it was also their downfall. The Dragnethar begin collecting contracts with the lesser gods and archons to increase their power. While most of them are doing so as a safeguard against stronger adversaries, one of them did so to fuel his ambition. Such great power corrupts the mind of Ruth Ezri, one of the Dragnethar. He believed that with enough lesser gods behind him, he could take on Lord Cas himself and become the ruler of the universe. But he's not too arrogant to go against Lord Cas on his own, so he convinced Xiomgef, another Dragnethar, to aid him in his path of conquest. Once Ruth Ezri feels confident, he declares that he is the only being fit to succeed Lord Cas in his long absence. This declaration is seen as blasphemy by the other 7 Dragnethar, who still believe that Lord Cas will return. Ruth Ezri, together with Xiomgef, began assaulting worlds created by Lord Cas that refused to bow to his command. The other 7 would not let such offense pass, so they stepped in to fight the two. With vast amount of gods backing them, Ruth Ezri and Xiomgef easily matched their 7 siblings. The war lasted for so long, hundreds of worlds fell, and billions of lives were lost, until one day, Lord Cas appeared to stop the war. Faced against his creator, rather than fear, Ruth Ezri felt excitement and clashed with the greater god. In a fit of rage, Lord Cas smites Ruth Ezri in hopes to destroy him once and for all. But the cunning Dragnethar channeled power from his supporters, and in that moment, Lord Cast's wrath obliterated thousands of those lesser gods instead. Witnessing the loss of his children, Lord Cast stopped for a moment in grief. The next moment, when Lord Cast is about to strike for the second time, Amlagil, one of the Dragnethar, pleads to Lord Cast to calm his wrath. He negotiated a term of punishment for Ruth Ezri and Shomgef. As lost as they were still his siblings, and he pleaded to Lord Cast to give them a second chance. The seven Dragnethar requested that Lord Cast allows them to be the warden of their own siblings, and they would share the punishment if that would make Lord Cast change his mind. Moved by the solidarity of their brothers, Lord Cast comes to a decision. From now on, the Dragnethar will be locked out of their power. They will be punished by going through the cycle of reincarnations, being born weak and fragile, and dying 1,000 times for every lesser god that perished in the war. Their power is reduced to fractions of what it was, and they are still bound to their responsibility to keep the world balanced. This time, it's scaled down to a single world, their prison, Solmea. Now, every time they are born, Dragnethar holds no memories of their past and only a tiny fractions of their powers that seeps through unknowingly. Their memory will come back only if they fulfill certain conditions that triggers their awakening. But with almost impossible conditions, Dragnethar could live their whole life and die without even realizing that they are one. Their power is limited by the mortal vessel they are born into, forcing them to store their immense power into an object called a catalyst. With such powerful artifact, they have to be very careful and keep them safe from the mortals. If this catalyst falls into the wrong hands, they would have the power to alter the fate of a kingdom. There will always be 9 Dragnethar incarnate in the world. When one dies, their runic presence dissipates into the great rune flow and reforms into another mortal to be reborn. As they are reborn, awaken, and die, their feats affect the balance of the power in the world, and their presence alone becomes legends and myth. Religions are built upon their legacy, and the Dragnethar becomes a central aspect of the world's politics. They still draw their powers from the lesser gods and the archons that they have contracted in the past. But with the additional task from Lord Cast to maintain the world's existence, they are given powers specific to the aspect they are governing, a reminder of the job they pursued during their prime. They are worshipped and known by many names, but their true names echoes across generations of mortals. Amlagil, also known as the Dragnethar of Earth, Dragnethar of Metal, or Dragnethar of Mineral. Arian, also known as the Dragnethar of Air or Dragnethar of Wind. Tilrith, also known as the Dragnethar of Ocean or Dragnethar of Water. Rovak, also known as the Dragnethar of Rune, Dragnethar of Thunder, or Dragnethar of Electricity. Ruth Ezri, also known as the Dragnethar of Heat, Dragnethar of Ice, or Dragnethar of Fire. Nihilis, also known as the Dragnethar of Light or Dragnethar of Darkness. Gaurim, also known as the Dragnethar of Void, Dragnethar of Space, or Dragnethar of Time. Shomgef, also known as the Dragnethar of Dream, Dragnethar of Mind, or Dragnethar of Sentience. And Kamu, also known as Dragnethar of Death or Dragnethar of Life. These 9 beings are sentenced to live, die, and repeat it for as long as any mortal can comprehend. However, their immense power immortalized as legends, passed through generations, and ended up as religions in some part of the world. This is where we will end this video. We will talk about each of the Dragnethar and their power in another video. Imagine if you were actually a Dragnethar without realizing it. Which one do you think you would be? Share your thoughts or questions with us in the comment sections below. If you are interested and want to know more about Dragnethar, please consider liking this video and subscribing to our channel. And don't forget to turn on the bell notification icons so you can be notified when a new video is posted. You can also explore the continent of Almantra to discover the story of Dragnethar yourself. Visit www.dragnethar.com to play the game right now for free. No download or installations is required. We hope you like the story and we'll see you in the next video.